Aloha and welcome to Where Hawaii Eats. I'm your host, Ann Lee, and today Chef Matt Young from Dukes Waikiki is going to be preparing this big hunk of meat. Prime rib, correct?
Prime rib. So this is from Double R Ranch in Wyoming. Really high quality, really nice meat.
How do you know what to choose?
We like to find something that's got a really nice fat content in it that's going to keep that prime rib really melt in your mouth, juicy after it's roasted.
So do you think that you should purchase more of a fattier meat or leaner?
I think fat's your friend.
Fat's your friend. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get started.
Cool. So we're going to make the rub for the prime rib. So we're going to start with a little bit of the Hawaiian salt. And if you want to start mixing up the rub, you can go in this mixing bowl right here.
If we don't have Hawaiian salt, what is the alternative?
Kosher salt is fine.
Kosher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not iodines though, because it's a little salty.
Is that enough salt?
A little bit more. And then a little bit of garlic.
How many prime ribs do you think you guys sell at the restaurant?
Well, we always say while it lasts, but we usually do probably about 25 or 30 a night.
A night?
Yeah. That should be good.
What was that?
Then we got a little bit of parsley.
Is prime rib your #1 seller?
It's up there. We sell probably more fish than anything down at the restaurant. But yeah, the prime rib is definitely something that we're known for and been on all of our restaurants menus for most of our restaurant menus for a really long time. We've got a little dried rosemary, a little dried thyme.
And that hula pie, how did it get that name?
Hula pie. God, I wish I knew the answer to that.
You know the ice cream pie that's enormous? It's like as big as this prime rib?
Absolutely. It was created at Kimo's restaurant a long time ago. Kimo's famous hula pie. But you know what? I don't know how it actually got its name.
That's your homework.
I will figure that out. I will get back to you.
How much?
We got a little bit of bay leaves.
1, 2?
1 is plenty.
Okay.
And then secret ingredient.
And what do we?
Seasoning salt.
We got to preheat the oven?
Yes. So the oven's preheated to 500.
500.
So we're gonna throw the meat in there, and we're gonna really sear it really hard to get it nice and dark and golden brown. And then we're gonna maybe like a teaspoon of that.
A teaspoon. I don't have a teaspoon.
That's
Can I just? I'm just gonna eye it.
Just eyeball it.
Because you know, I use this.
And we like to marinate or rub our prime ribs a day before, so we get a full 24 hours on the rub. If you did it maybe an hour before, 2 hours before, it's fine. But the longer you leave that thing on there, the better it's going to taste. So we're just going to cover the whole piece of meat
With this.
with that.
So when you prep it a day ahead, do you leave it in the refrigerator?
Yeah, refrigerate it overnight
Overnight.
with the rub on it in some sort of baking dish or pan, and it'll kind of start a little bit of curing and really let that seasoning penetrate the meat. And I'll get my hands dirty so you don't have to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
And just rub it all over and really try and cover the meat really well.
so when you prep it the day ahead, do you cover it with aluminum foil?
Yeah, just cover it with plastic wrap.
Plastic wrap? Okay.
Let it hang out. So that is it.
Wow.
This is ready to go in the oven.
Okay. And how long do we cook it for?
So we're gonna do 500 for 20 minutes just to get that really nice sear on it. And then after that, it depends on how big of a piece of meat you're gonna put in there. So we usually say probably about 15 minutes a pound or so.
What do you guys serve the prime rib with?
So we're serving it with mashed potatoes, and we've got a seasonal vegetable that changes all the time. We've got broccolini with us today. So should we pull out the finished product?
Let's take a look at the finished product. The magic of television.
There we go. We've got one that we roasted off already.
And this was how long in there?
This was in the oven for the 20-minute sear, and then about an hour and a half at 225 degrees.
225.
So slow and low.
Slow and
your
low.
friend. That's going to get that nice, even cooking all the way through. And obviously, you can cook it longer
Can we
if
cut
you
a
like.
piece?
Yes. So we'll get a nice piece
I'm going to eat this.
of prime.
Now, I've made prime rib before and it didn't come out this color. What's the trick to getting it like this?
That's slow and low cooking.
Slow and low.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Searing it real quick to get the crust, and then slow and low.
So now you want to serve it with some mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Grab a spoon.
Let's plate it. I'm going to grab a fork and a knife. not gonna stop this episode without tasting a bite of this.
Absolutely. Little mashed potatoes.
How did you make the mashed potatoes?
Salt, pepper, butter, cream, and a little bit of sour cream.
Nice. All fat free, right?
All fat free.
Okay.
Cut up a couple pieces.
I'm gonna feed you a bite.
All right, here we go. Good.
Good? Do you have to let it rest when you take it out of the oven?
Absolutely. Let it rest for a good 20 or 30 minutes. Let those juices really seal in.
That's really good.
Thank you.
The flavor is crispy on the outside. It's juicy. It's not chewy at all. It's like melts in your mouth. Very good. Thank you so much for coming and doing the show. Look at this amazing backdrop. This is where you get to work 5 days a week?
5 days a week, maybe more sometimes. But yeah, it's not a bad place to call office. We're open for breakfast 7 days a week, starting at 7 a.m. with our breakfast buffet, and then lunch until 3, and then we're opening up the dining room at 4 o'clock.